Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. We are here. It's the weekend review. It's Tuesday and it's the weekend review. So first of all, apologies for the delay. I haven't done one of these in about 3 weeks. It's because I've been doing lives and stuff and we've had the break. But you know what? What do they say? I don't want problems, I want solutions. So we're back. We are back on it. And what is a perfect way to start by speaking about Artur Beterbiev and Callum Smith, the fight that we saw. We did a live watch along. Thanks to you guys that tuned in, that got involved. It was if you were from the UK and you were up at 4 a.m. with me on Sunday, kudos to you. For those that stayed awake, for those that set the alarms, you were there. It was good. We had fun. What a fight that was. We can start from so many places when it comes to Dmitry Bivol. I've got him on the brain because you know why, don't you? With Artur Beterbiev. He's a fighter that I've watched, I've been a fan of for a very, very long time. I've said it once, I'll say it again. I like the way that those guys train. They train with the steel. They use a lot of kettlebells, mace, clubs, running, mounting, high altitude, push-ups, strengthening the wrists, strengthening the shoulders. So we're looking at those short, sharp, explosive shots that can literally rip your face to ribbons or really cause you some concussive damage, wobble you, dizzy, make you get knocked down. We've seen it. Israel Madrimov is another fighter that kind of does the same thing. And to be fair, him and Dmitry have sparred together before. But Artur Beterbiev versus Callum Smith, even though, like I said, I'm a massive fan of Artur, I thought, what if Callum Smith can do it? What if he can do it with that hook? We know the power that he packs in that hook. The bell went, didn't it? And I remember saying, as soon as Artur gets into range, it's going to be problems because he's going to hit at will. And this is what he does. He finds his range, he gets comfortable, and then he starts looking for the openings. And clearly the weakness on Callum that Artur Beterbiev capitalised on was continuously to bash his face in. And that he did do. We saw Callum's face very bruised during the post-fight conversation. Artur was a smaller fighter, you know, Callum taller, whatever. We saw Callum throwing the catch count hooks. We saw the hooks. Artur was just eating them. The ones that landed, he's just like, yeah, okay, game on. He looks, it's like, you know when a fighter looks at you and they look into your eyes, they slowly start to see the life battery starting to drain out of you. That's the impression that I get when you get in the ring with someone like Artur Beterbiev. He looks at your life force draining and then he starts to target and target. We did have a little bit of drama leading up to the fight. So was some of that beating personal? I doubt it. He just gets on with the job and does what he needs to do. Callum was going back into the corner. Buddy was saying, look, he knows what you're doing. He knows your game plan. That hook, it's not working. You've got to attack the body. Several times, Buddy McGirt was saying that. Callum went back out, maybe tried to do that, but Artur just wouldn't let him breathe. It was pressure. And I think I'd say from about round 2, when Artur like sunk into his rhythm, we all knew what it was going to be. And it was exciting for the fans while it lasted. But I guess you could say that there was only ever going to be one outcome. Egg on my face, maybe a little bit, because I think I was living in the hope and the dream that Callum would possibly do it, because we saw Anthony Yarde hurt Artur in some of the rounds. We saw him put up a good fight. We saw him really come out with the flurry of shots. We saw that. But as you know, Artur can be knocked down. He can have his face split open. His I guess that's why they kind of describe him as a machine. He's like the Terminator. You think it's going to be over, and it just isn't. Commiserations to Callum and the team. Congratulations once again to Arto, who said there's one more belt left for his collection. You know, we know what the fans want. I know what I want, and obviously it's Dmitry Bivol. And we can, you know, lead on to that because, and those of you that want to mute the sound, His Excellency, got to throw it in there. You can't even have that boxing conversation now on this side of the world without mentioning it. Turki Al Sheikh said that he's gonna make that fight. I think I heard June mentioned. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But that is something that we would like to see, and I do believe Beterbiev beats Bivol. Comfortably, is he ever comfortable in a fight? He seemed quite comfortable with Callum, but is Artur ever comfortable in a fight, really and truly? I don't know if he'll be comfortable, but I do think that he'll stop. He'll probably stop Bivol. I can't see it going to points, but like I said, we've all got a difference in opinion. That's just my gut feeling. I'm really looking forward to that fight. What does he do after that? What does he do after he reunifies should he win? Will he carry on? You know, I think he's 39 this week. I know his birthday's coming up. His age was mentioned a lot, amongst other things. What will he do? But at the moment, I do believe that he beats all of them. World level, he beats absolutely all of them. The likes of Dan Aziz, Callum Simpson, Lyndon Arthur, they've all sparred with Beterbiev. And I'm sure somewhere on the World Wide Web on YouTube, you'll find them talking about Artur. Because I know I spoke to Dan Aziz about him. I've definitely spoke to Callum Simpson about him. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. That kind of touches on something that I've been thinking about. And I don't like to touch on the drugs because I don't understand how the drugs kind of work. All I know is that he was found with some slightly raised or not necessarily normal amounts of stuff that occurs in the body naturally. Like I said, I don't get into it, but it just creates a bigger picture. We've now seen Alicia come out and say that basically the WBC, she's been cleared, and it starts to raise a question about companies being fit for purpose, because if you employ them to find something, then things are getting overturned. There's implications of contamination. How long will that keep going forward? What I would like to do, and I'll have a look and see if I can find one. I'd like to find some sort of biologist. I doubt if I'll get somebody from VADA to come on, but there's loads of questions that that you'd like to have answered. How do they measure it? What is above a certain rate? Are they looking into certain body composition? What is the body composition? Are they looking into even things that people might not see as relevant, that might be relevant when it comes to drug testing? You know, your height, your weight, the sex that you are, you're actually, your born sex, what you're born with. I guess we could say that's in old money now. Your race, your geographical conditions, are we keeping libraries of everything that the fighters have, or any of the supplements or anything that they're allowed to take? Is there a possibility that that same laboratory that makes those supplements are making medication? There's all sorts of, it's a minefield. So it'd be interesting to get somebody's expert opinion on that. And that's why when it comes to the drug stuff, I steer clear of it, because I don't understand it. So it is what it is. But we've got to talk about yesterday's press conference. I had the privilege of being invited down to London they're calling it Knockout Chaos, and it was very nostalgic to the computer games that us, late 70s, early 80s kids would have played in the late 80s, early 90s. It gave that sort of vibe. Even the way one of the things was worded, it reminded me a little bit of Tetris. and I'm going back now, really going back. Had that sort of Street Fighter element to it. Other games, it's got that feel to it, which was, it's nostalgic, it's nice. So we've got Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. Now, I remember Anthony Joshua saying he didn't want to be part of the circus. That was one of the things that he said. And I did speak to his management team, David, and I said, how does it feel now to be part of the circus? That's the thing about the internet. People like to bookmark things. Oh, you said this on this date and whatever. Not understanding that people can actually change their minds. I don't know if you guys remember, but this was a fight that I think Eddie wanted Anthony Joshua to have a while ago, and Anthony Joshua declined. But now we've got the puppet masters involved, you know, the ones that are pulling the strings, the ones that have got the money, the ones that can literally force competitors and rivals to sit together and hold hands and live happily ever after in the world of boxing. It's good for the sport. Whatever you think of it, you know, the merge, because we've got some good fighters on both sides of the pond, if you want for a better word. And now we're starting to see, you know, those fighters go on cards. We can talk about the step up from that shortly. But we'll talk about the fight itself now. Credit to Tyson Fury for taking the Ngannou fight in the first place. A fight that I stood there and thought, Fury's gonna, I don't even know why this is happening. Fury's gonna finish him. You know, it almost seems pointless. And there were a few people saying, no, this is gonna be a real fight. And I was like, can't see it. But that's my ignorance down to my lack of MMA, mixed martial arts knowledge, because I don't watch it, obviously, like I watch boxing. So when we saw Fury take the fight, I thought it was open and closed. We saw what happened. There's differences in opinion on that. We've already covered that. However, what the fight did do, it gave credibility to Francis Ngannou. And this is where we see this fight happened. It was almost like, with the card that happened the other week, it was like, okay, we are gonna now, we're gonna get Wilder. This is before the results, by the way. We're gonna get Joshua versus Wilder. That's the fight. That's what we're leading up to. And then the winner fights Fury or whatever. That's kind of like where we were going. Then we had a fantastic performance from Joseph Parker that nullified the attributes of Deontay Wilder. If Wilder had landed that right hand of his, would we have said that he's not as good as he used to be, that he's this and he's that? I think we need to give Joseph Parker a bit of credit for nullifying the attributes that Deontay Wilder has, which is to literally steamroll you with that backhand. He couldn't do it. And I've done the breakdown on that. We saw how that fight happened, and then it's like, oh, so is there any point of Joshua fighting Wilder now? And me personally, I don't think there is a point. People say, yeah, that fight should definitely still happen. But then obviously in steps Ngannou. Now, I spoke to his trainer, Dewey Cooper. I think he was nicknamed the Black Cobra. He was a kickboxer, he's a fighter himself, to get educated on him too in a short amount of time. And one of the things, he explained that Ngannou is extremely tough mentally. He's really up for it. And he's going to do his best. Now, because of what we saw with Tyson Fury, I think this potentially could be a tricky fight. Fair enough, I get it. There's one boxing match that they can watch to see what Ngannou's got, what's he been working on since. If Tyson Fury knows what it's like to be hit by Francis Ngannou and go down from being hit. Francis Ngannou took an elbow from Fury, whatever you want to word it, as a hook that missed or whatever, didn't faze him. So we know that he's solid, we know that he's tough. I really think we need to, and I think the fight is getting the credit it deserves, to be fair. I think it's going to be a tricky fight, if I'm honest. And then we look at it like a measuring stick. We saw the Wallin thing, you know, where AJ obviously forces Otto Wallin into retirement. It went to decision for Fury, but then people are backtracking and saying, oh, but he was his sparring partner, even though it was his sparring partner years ago, or using for prep. I think it was for Charles Martin, the fought in the amateurs, all of that stuff. And albeit it's all true, does it get to the point where we just can't say, you know what, congrats, that was a really good win? It's a bit split on that. So I think, albeit it's mixed martial arts fighter, again, because it is his second fight, can we really call him a boxer? I guess maybe we can, because he's going into his second professional fight. Imagine that, you're an MMA fighter, you go into boxing, you go straight to the top, and you fight two of, you know, of the best in the division. One that's a former two-time world champion, and the other one is a world champion. It's just unheard of as such, until we think about Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, and that's a fight that I watched and I enjoyed it. And I think sometimes as time goes by, we get a little bit snobbish in, oh, we shouldn't be doing that, shouldn't be doing this. But I remember watching Floyd and Conor, and I really enjoyed that fight. It's the same thing, I guess, if you look at it like that. But a good fight, I'm looking forward to it. I guess we can talk about the undercard. The Fury undercard, in my opinion, is better than the March the 8th undercard. Maybe they'll put some more fights on there. We'll see some more announcements. But either way, we've got two huge cards to look forward to. One in February, one in March, out there in Saudi. I mean, Tyson Fury, and this is another thing, you know, I'm not writing off Tyson Fury. He had a bad night at the office, and everyone can sit down and debate and say what they think went wrong, why did it go wrong. They can blame Camp, they can blame him overlooking, people talking about legs, all sorts of stuff. But if Tyson went in there and maybe thought like how the fans thought that he'd just be a walkover, he made a mistake, didn't he? He got the win. I guess every time you watch the fight, you're going to see a different version, but he got the win, he won. But Ngannou did what he did. He's going in to fight Alexander Usyk, and I was always favouring Fury to win that, but I don't know anymore. I don't know. I'm likely to change my mind again, probably anyway. Good fight, yeah, absolutely. But I think this is the fight that we can truly sit back and say, okay, now let's have a look at Tyson Fury. Nobody really questions Alexander Usyk because of his accolades, because of what he's done, because he's went from cruiserweight to elevated super champion, jumped the queue, went in there and got to work straight away. Nobody really questions that. There's no real question marks, except the body shots. Low blow gate, whatever. You can go over that as well. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it's February the 17th, isn't it? I'm trying not to get my dates wrong. So I get dates wrong and names wrong sometimes. But I'm looking forward to that. Really, really looking forward to that. It's a historic, it will go down in history fight because of what's on the line. So yeah, that is good stuff. What I'm sure yesterday we saw that Saudi created a belt, or was I seeing things yesterday when I was at the presser? Remember I said, now, fair enough, you've got Usyk Fury, you've got that. But I've said it before, are we moving away from the traditional belts? Because I think the General Entertainment Authority, they have said the winner of Usyk Fury will fight the winner of Joshua Ngannou. So we're looking at a different type of matchmaking here. Yeah, fair enough, it'll be for all of the marbles, it'll be for everything, or whatever happens, whichever belt has to drop off in case one of the governing bodies says no, actually, blah, blah, blah. But we are looking at a potential rematch anyway with Fury and Usyk. So boxing is not as rigid as it was. I mean, it's never really been that rigid, but it's more fluid now. And it's something that I like to see, because I like to see the evolution of it. And I did mention it ages ago to Johnny Nelson. I was laughed out of the room when I said, look, wouldn't it be nice to see promoter v promoter, the best of, you know, whatever, fighting each other. And we've got all of the, I did say it was all of the 4 key promoters in the UK. And now we Matchroom versus Queensbury, Queensbury versus Matchroom, five aside. You know, I'm looking at that and I'm like, this is epic. This is what we want to see. This is progress, because now the middleman is kind of like taken out of it, and it's like it now is, no, we will have these fights, and it's progressive and it's good for the sport. It brings eyes and ears to it. It gets people like me talking about it for half an hour. So I like to see that. And the mentality is winner stays on. And that's another thing I was laughed at when I mentioned it before as well. So it's good to see these things actually starting to come into fruition. It's like, okay, let's have a look at this business model. Let's see how we can change it. Let's see how I can draw more eyes to the sport, and let's run with it. And I think that's a fantastic thing to do. I'm 100% looking forward to it. Trying to think, was there anything on X this morning? Let's have a look and see if there's anything on X. X can be so toxic sometimes. Oh. I'm just having a look and see on the home page to see what's happening. I'll tell you what I am looking forward to. You know, like these face-offs that they've done with Frank and Eddie. I think TNT's done one with Bunty. Shout out to Steve Bunce. Saw him yesterday, looking well. And I think Ade's done one where it's more like a sit-down, because he's got the Eddie and Frank sat next to each other where Bunty's in the middle of them. Looking forward to that content when that comes out. I do like all of this, you know. Let's have a look. Is anything else on there? Jaya Pataya. Imagine the IBF take his belt off him because they don't like the opponent that he was fighting the other day. And then they say, obviously, Bradison, somebody in the top, whatever, is going to fight for the vacants. And then look, he ends up fighting Bradis again. Imagine that. So yeah, we're going to get Jaya Pataya Bradis 2, which I'm really looking forward to. Really looking forward to, because Bradis is no pushover. Remember, he broke his jaw in that fight. So let's see. The only thing that's going to really kill Bradis now is inactivity. Jaya Pataya's on a roll, isn't he? So that'll be interesting to see. Let me just have a look and see if there's anything else on there. Everyone's trying to guess what, you know, I've even put it up on my YouTube. What fights would you like to see? The 5 versus the 5. So keep running with that if you want. And obviously this week, we've got fight week. I just need to let you guys know. I've still got some content to put up from the GMB Sports Media Week. I'll be putting them up over the next couple of days. I've put up all of the content that I got at the press conference yesterday. Knockout Chaos, Riyadh season. I didn't get Eddie. I didn't get Frank. I didn't get AJ, and I didn't get Ngannou. But I'm happy with the conversations that I got. Of course, you want to go and get them, you know, the key people, the key elements. I'd even like to speak to His Excellency, but I doubt that will happen. But yeah, I've got what I've got. The content's out there. And I really enjoyed speaking to Dewey Cooper, actually, Ngannou's trainer. That was interesting. But we'll see how that one goes. So yeah, so that's out. GMB Sports I've got to put out. Thursday I should be attending the Boxer press conference in Liverpool. I won't be going to the fight. I'll be doing a watch along. We'll do the usual 8:30 start live YouTube watch along. I tried to get the panel together, but with Maestro being in New York, everyone's got commitments, etc., etc. That's working out to be a bit of a struggle. I want to try and keep it to the 4 of us. I think it works well. Maestro's a key component because he watched the fight live with Artur Beterbiev and Callum Smith. So it'd be really nice to get his input. But I feel as the days go on, it starts to fade and loses its relevance. We should have really struck while the iron's hot, but it is what it is. We keep it moving. And as you know, boxing, there's always something going on anyway. I'm just trying to think. I think that is it. We've kept it short and sweet this time. It's a miracle. So yeah, You know what to do. If you haven't already, subscribe, share, hit the bell for notification. Feedback is always appreciated as well. So yeah. So the next time I see you guys then is live Saturday night from 8:30 for, I think it's IBF, isn't it? Natasha Jonas, Michaela Mayer. We'll do the watch along for that. But you know what we say at October Red, as per usual, stay ready. And thank you for listening to Abs of October Red.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.